but Frank's not here today. Yes,
it was nice.
Right. So, let's start with Elvis since you're the farthest from me. How are you doing? What are you doing?
I am doing okay. I am doing very fine. I think it's the weather. Like it kind of keeps getting better, and
Yes,
my
right?
motto, my heart also sole.
Right?
Sole, yeah, hashtag.
Hashtag. Okay. Yes. Okay. And how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Feeling better and better. I think Elvis is right. I agree with him. The weather is kind of brightening my mood.
Yeah.
It's sunny all the time.
The
Most of
weather
the time,
is making me want to go outside.
Yes.
But the number of positive cases
Oh,
in the
yeah.
city is
That's
making
a
me want to
downside.
hide in my home under my
Right.
blankets.
Yeah.
I am actually decided every time that I feel stressed out or want to shop, I'm going to buy plants.
Oh,
I now have
Yeah.
about 20 or so bamboo stalks
Wow.
and
Stress.
2 stucky plants.
Yeah.
And I will buy
a
more.
lot of stress.
My anxiety tells me I will buy more. Probably today. And how are you, April?
I'm good. It's my 3rd week now, and I'm
Woo!
getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's a, like what Elvis said, like great weather. So I went to like hiking last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was a good weather for hiking.
Yeah.
So
It is,
Yeah.
right? And we all know, of course, next week there are 2 big sort of celebrations,
Yeah.
or at least important days happening,
Yeah.
right?
We get
Um,
to rest.
Yes, listeners, on the Tuesday, it will be May 18th. That's the 41st anniversary of the May 18th Democratic Uprising.
Yeah.
May 19th is Buddha's birthday, so...
holiday.
Right,
Awesome.
holiday. Okay, so if you're just joining us, What Are You Doing is meeting listeners in multiple ways, right? While our voices and music come out on the radio, this show is also being live streamed right now on NawTube. You can check out channel GFN. You can join us every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. on the radio and 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on NawTube. But don't forget, please click like and subscribe to channel GFN so you don't miss a thing.
매주 수요일 11시에서 12시 GFN이 라디오뿐만 아니라 너튜브로도 여러분을 찾아갑니다. So what are you doing? 이름하여
뭐하니?
And what are we doing today? I don't know. Well, of course, as we know, May is full of special anniversaries. We had Children's Day. We had on the 5th. We had Parents' Day on the 8th. There is Teachers' Day on the 15th. And since that is the next major celebration, as we'll call it in Korea, that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about our teachers.
Yes.
Favorite teachers. Let's not talk about the ones we didn't like.
Plenty of those.
I wouldn't say I had plenty of them,
Yeah.
but like, you know when you're remembering your childhood growing up and the teachers that you remember that you loved, you can see their faces, but sometimes their names just sort of
Oh, yeah.
float off into the who
What
your
happened to me?
name was. But the ones you really hated, I only have like 2, maybe 3 teachers that stick out in my entire elementary, high school, university that stick out that I was like, I loathe you to the
Yeah.
7 rings of yes.
Right.
But and of course I can't remember their faces so much, but I remember their names.
Oh.
So when I was like
Exactly.
looking up my favorite teachers, I was like, oh, I really loved, and I can see his face perfectly, but can't remember his name. I really hated Mr. Ding Ding, but I can't remember what he looked like. So I'm
But the
searching
names, yeah.
old books. I'm searching online. Where's the picture? I can't remember. So I'm kind of curious. Like, we do have Teachers' Day in Canada. But it was not hugely celebrated when I was younger. I think there was an official day made more official after I was done school. But mostly it was like at the end of the year, you would give your teacher like an apple or
Sure,
something.
yeah,
Or
right.
one day you might be like, I love you, Mrs. Ding Ding, and here's some flowers,
Yeah,
that kind of
Right.
thing. But we didn't have a day where everyone was like, give carnations to teachers, write letters for teachers. It was more like the end of the school year's coming,
Yeah.
or if your teacher was leaving or was sick or going maternity leave or something, then you would like, oh, we love you, Mrs. or Mr. Ding Ding. But what about you, Elvis?
Well, not really an official celebration for teachers.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's similar thing. Like towards the end of the semester, like we will bring our teachers small gifts or cards and showing our appreciation. that's kind of it.
Okay.
So
Right.
nothing really more.
Kind of like in Canada, right?
Yeah,
What about
yeah.
the Philippines? I don't know if you went to school there.
No, I didn't go to school. I don't know much about it, but I remember like in Canada, like we would do it at the end of the year, but also
Yeah.
just with like any other holiday, like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Right, you would like give your teacher a Valentine's Day
Like
card.
all your other kids in the
Yeah.
class and your teacher.
Right, Christmas, maybe
Yes.
like a box of chocolates or
Right.
something like that. So it was kind of just like coinciding with any other holiday that was going on.
That's true.
But no official
Yeah.
day.
Official did. I don't
The
remember
first
there
time,
being.
Yeah, the first time in Korea where someone was like, "Hey, Happy Teachers Day," I was like, "Whoa, what's
I got
that?"
a box of
Amazing.
socks, and I was like, "Why are you getting me socks?"
It felt good though, right?
It did. The next year, I was like, "Where's my socks?" Teacher, it's Children's Day. Sunmore. I'm like, "Where's my socks?" Come on, my Sunmore. Where's my socks? My young mom. What about when you were growing up? What kinds of things did you get your teachers, April?
For me, like in elementary school, I remember my mom and my classmates' moms. They kind of like gathered their money and then bought like my teacher like clothing.
Sure.
Mhm.
I don't think it's allowed now.
Yeah.
Not, definitely not.
So back in the day when I was little. So yeah, and then we would just give our teachers like letters and
Right.
carnations,
Sure.
and then like write thank you teacher on the blackboard,
Right.
and then just like in that sense because we're little, right?
Sure.
But I think our moms did like the back sides with all the
They had the fruit
related.
boxes and the
Yeah.
boxes
Yeah.
of socks. To be honest, as a teacher, I've been teaching in Korea now, in around 13 or 14 years. I don't remember what happened to those socks, God. I'm pretty sure I don't have any of the socks or what happened to any of the other gifts. But I still have every single letter that a student ever wrote to me,
Yeah.
whether it was for Teacher's Day or not. I still have all of the
Yeah.
letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, was why I kind of encourage people to write the letters, even if it's,
Right.
you can't read it because you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the, is that a horse? No, teacher, it's you. Oh, I'm beautiful. Oh my God, I don't know what that is. But yeah, I mean, like, that is what I remember. I have like an entire box. It's like a keepsake box full of letters, and that is more meaningful.
You're totally right. You're totally right. Yeah, absolutely.
But I have some where I'm just like, I reread them now, and I'm like, at the time I was like, oh, thanks, it's a letter, it goes into the box. And then I reread them now and think, oh, like I feel like I touched your life. And I actually met a student, and it took me, I'm embarrassed to say, if you're listening, student Evan, I'm so sorry. I taught him when he was in elementary school. I think I taught him up to grade 4. I met him again. He's now in university. And he recognized me. Obviously, I'm still fat and the same. And he doesn't look anything like he did when he was in grade 4. And he's like, oh, Kayla teacher. And I was like, who are you? I don't say who are you. So I'm like, hi, how are you? And he's like, I'm so good. I haven't seen you in forever. I'm like, yeah. Because I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And then at the end when he was leaving, he was like, oh, it's so nice. I still use the name Evan that you gave me. I was like, you're Evan? Because I only ever gave one student Evan the name, apparently. But I was like, you got first off like 6 feet taller.
Yeah.
That's not true. I know. He was probably about like 130 centimeters-ish when I taught him. And he was probably pushing 180 when I met him again.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know who you are. I know who you are. But I think, many teachers must be like that. I clearly remember so many teachers.
Yeah.
My favorite high school music teacher, his name was Mr. Metcalf. And, okay, so there's also another one. They were like 2 teachers together. It was Metcalf and Watson. But I can't for the life of me remember Miss Watson's first name. But anyway, and I couldn't find a picture because I couldn't remember her first name to find. Lots of people with the last name Watson.
Of course.
Pound 9870 or find us on NotTube. If you remember Mrs. Watson's first name, really bugs me.
Please.
But yes, Curtis Metcalf. Did you find? Oh yes, that's Curtis Metcalf. He was the boy teacher. And he was like the best music teacher I've ever. He treated us like adults. He would throw pencils at us from time to time. We were like eating candy and then playing the flute. That's really bad for you. Really, really bad for your brass instruments, by the way, or for any instrument to eat candy and then play into them. But yeah, and he brought us to, where did we go? We went to Bermuda with him. We went to Louisiana with him.
So
like
awesome.
we're on like a band trip. He was
Cool.
so cool, and he treated us like we were high school students, but he treated us like adults,
Yeah,
not
that's
like
nice.
kids.
Yeah.
He never talked down to us, and we'd try to wind him up, and he'd just be like, he'd get this look in his eye, and I swear his eyeball would twitch. And
And that's it.
he was the best. Mr. Metcalf, if you're listening, saranghae.
Oh.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, you have those teachers that stay with you. But if I were to contact Mr. Metcalf now and say, "Oh, Mr. Metcalf, your music class was so much fun," he'd probably look at me and be like, "Who are you again?" Because you teach so many
much, yeah.
students
Yeah.
that, you know, for one or two might stand out, but eventually they kind of blend in
Yeah.
after a
Yeah.
while, and you're just like, you don't look like you did when you were 10 years old. But you moved to Canada as well, though, didn't you, April?
Yeah, when I was in grade 4, I think.
So how was that different school-wise for you, like teacher-wise? What was the
Yeah.
difference between like Canada and Korea?
Obviously the language.
Apart from the language.
And then I think the age was like when I was in elementary in Korea, most of the teachers were quite young, I think.
Okay.
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 And then when I went in, like my first teacher that I met in Canada was really old actually.
Oh.
So I was really surprised.
Wait. That's like, you're in grade 4, you said?
Yeah.
How old is really old when you're in grade 4?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
If you're going to say 40, I'm afraid we're going to have to...
She was older than that for sure. Like I can remember. Like she was almost like,
She was like
Harmony.
45. Oh my God, that was it.
No. Don't get me wrong. No, it was like for sure at least like 50.
Nearing retirement age? Is
Yes,
that the-
yes.
Okay.
Just to assure you, it wasn't like.
You know, like I thought my kindergarten teacher was really old. She was
Yeah.
30 when I was in kindergarten, so
Yeah.
to me 30 was really old. But like if you told me now 30 was old,
Yeah.
turn off the camera for a moment, listeners.
No. But yeah, yeah, like that was that, and then yeah, like most of them in Korea were like more like gentle and nice and.
I want those teachers. I have not met those
For me,
teachers.
I was lucky. I was lucky.
Yeah, wow.
But for like when I went to Canada, like they were really like charismatic and it was
Passionate.
Yeah, passionate.
High energy.
Like that was that. So
That was that. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to Paolo's time at school in Canada and
Yeah.
his favorite teachers. As soon as we listen to a track, it is by Drunken Tiger. It's called 선생님은 외계인,
Oh.
an alien, an alien teacher. These are really hot, by the way. I'm going to take them off. I'm sweating.
걔는 아까 눈물 난 거예요? 선생님 얘기하면서? 그 얘기하면 눈물 난 선생님 있어요?
was I supposed to talk about my teacher?
You know what though? When I was teaching in my first school, all of my students were like, "Teacher, you're fat. Pregnant? And I'd be like, no. And then I worked there about 3 years. The end of my 3rd year, I quit because I got pregnant. Like a basketball playbook pregnant. I was 37 weeks and still teaching,
Yeah.
pregnant.
Yeah.
And like my students would be like, we'd have a new student, and they'd be like, "Oh, teacher, pregnant?" And my other students would be like, No, that. And I'm like, well, yes, technically that's true, but also pregnant. And then the second time I taught till maybe a week and a half before I gave birth. So like waddling around school, and all the students would go past like this. You need teacher space. You need teacher space. I'm like, I don't need teacher this much space. Yes, teacher is big, okay? I get that. And then by the third one, they're all like, "Teacher, can I rub your belly?"
Oh my god.
Go for it. You know, I don't care anymore. That's just
As you wish.
from eating the spicy thing. My hot. I'm warm.
Hearted.
I'm a hot tamale. Are we not? Is this us? Oh, there we are. No, that is not us. Are we not live?
We're live. I think.
Are we live? mention your name.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we are.
where are we?
that one.
지금 하고 있냐?
Here we are.
아, 지금.
Oh. Pengsuapa, 감사합니다. Hyunbi, I forgot to mention I received it and then forgot to tell you I read it. But without any music, Pengsuapa, it's a little bit hard to get the flow of your. He wrote a song, a poem song for the radio. It was really nice lyrics, Pengsuapa, but maybe you can have some music
Yeah.
so I know exactly how you know.
Yeah.
How to do. And you also had pictures, right?
Food
You sent some
pictures.
food pictures, right?
Oh.
Wow.
Please do not send them before I've eaten breakfast. It's like mean, Pengsuapa. It's mean. My tummy is so gurgly hungry.
But that sounds interesting. Lyrics for the radio.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was actually really nice. It was a really nice song.
Yeah.
He registered lettered it here. We got to read it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, everybody. We are back, listeners, and that track was called 선생님 외계인. It was by Drunken Tiger. If you're just joining us, we are What Are You Doing? And today we're talking about our favorite teachers.
Yeah.
Kids can be incredibly cruel sometimes, listeners, as we all know. And teachers can be incredibly unmotivated, unpassionate, just soul-sucking to sit through their classes. I'm sure all students have had a teacher like that where they just, crushed. My sister had a teacher when she was like, I don't know, grade 3 or grade 4, who basically told her she wouldn't amount to much in life. Like, you need to watch your words because words impact people and words impact students. You could say something to a student that completely changes their life for the better and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
But the flip side is also true. You could say something to a student without meaning to, you know, and we're human. Teachers are human. We get frustrated. We get
Yeah,
upset.
totally.
We get, you know.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to believe their child is an angel. By the way, if my son or daughter's 선생님 are listening, I know my children are not angels. Thank you so much. Let's go to Paulo.
Yeah.
I know you didn't go to school in the Philippines.
Right.
But did you have like a favorite school teacher?
School teacher, yeah. Well, I remember grade 2 very vividly. Miss Molinero. I remember this like it was yesterday. I remember going into the library. Everyone was getting books, getting like picture books and stuff.
Right.
But I like picked up a chapter book, started reading, and then I put it back. And she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, these books are for older kids."
Oh.
And then she said, "You can read whatever you want to read." And I just
That's a good
yeah.
teacher.
And I don't know. It just always stuck with me. It's just like always read. It's very important, but just read whatever as long as your mind can handle it. Just
Right.
just keep going. So I remember that. It's still with me to this day. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And as far as like my biggest teachers, I have to really.
Go on to NotTube. There's a picture.
That's it right there. Those are my parents.
Yeah.
They're the best teachers in my life. Like they taught me all like the
They're
basic
your first
things.
teachers, right?
Yeah. Even to this day, they're still teaching me because like they've been together forever.
Yeah.
They have a good relationship. Now I'm married, so I like take lessons from them, like and like how to be married and stuff like that.
Yes, dear.
Yeah.
Yes, dear. You're right, dear.
That's right. Yeah. My dad taught me how to be very quiet when I'm
Right?
speaking.
Yeah.
So all that kind of stuff. And the most important thing, they taught me about love. I think they told me that, it's an action. You got to do things. You can't just say it.
Yeah.
You got to do it. So if you really love someone, you gotta put the work in. It's not all smooth
Right.
sailing. And always just be humble, be polite, be kind to other people. My dad always said, there's always somebody better than you. There's always somebody worse than you. So just kind of stick to your own plan. Have your
Right.
long-term goals. And my mom always used to say, life is simple if you keep it simple.
Right.
So just, don't overcomplicate things. Just like, make a plan, whatever you want to do, and just go for it.
This is
Do your
turning
best.
into Parents' Day.
Sorry. Honestly, they're my best teachers.
Yeah.
I have to
That's
say,
true.
I have to say. And Miss Monero,
Without naming names, do you have like a terrible teacher?
Mr. Souza.
Without saying names.
Oh my.
Okay, no. My grade 9 math teacher wore safety pins in his ears. He wore Converse. I hated
Whoa.
math with a passion,
Wow.
but his class I got 98% in because he
Wow.
was so cool.
Yeah.
But my history teacher, one history teacher, no. But my other history teacher had a stockade in his room.
Oh.
If you don't know what a stockade is, it's basically where you were bad for like minor crimes. So they'd stick you in the middle with your head and your hands in the wood block where you couldn't move and you're all bent over. People would throw like rotten food.
Wow.
But in class, we didn't throw food. We threw crumpled up bits of paper.
Yeah.
He was great. I loved him.
Yeah.
But he did get sick. But I think I don't think he passed away. I think he beat it. But he had full chainmail that he let us wear. He let us play with his swords.
That's amazing.
Nobody got hurt. Nobody caused a fuss. But I will tell you, listeners, I think my high school and my elementary school hated me. Both schools no longer exist.
Oh.
They tore down my elementary school.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was still living in Canada at that time.
Yeah.
But then they tore down my high school.
Wow.
They combined two high schools that were really close together. Like there was about 3 blocks apart.
Sure.
Yeah.
They tore and built one big one, combined all the classes.
Oh.
They tore down my high school, listeners.
Where did you go to?
I'm affronted.
Where did you go to university?
No, my university's still there.
Oh.
For now. Listen up, Canada. Quit tearing down my school. Oh, gosh, Kayla went there. Quick, tear it down. Any reminder of her. Yeah, my mom was like, oh, they're tearing down the school because they built a new one. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. The school was over the building itself was like over 150 years old or so.
Yeah.
So it needed a
It
lot
should have been
of...
torn down, I guess. Yeah, right. For
At
safety.
the point, it was more slapping on fixes as opposed to fixing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I could see that, but then they were like, "We're tearing down your high school." I was like, but my house literally is across the street from where the high school sat. I was like, "What are they gonna put there?" It's just this wide open field.
Yeah, right.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
But they did it, and I was here. I couldn't take anything from the school. You hear that, Aurelia? I'm angry. Listeners, we need to take a station break. We also need to take a song break. But in the second half, when we come back, we're going to talk more about schools. I want to see if April can give a shout out to her favorite teacher or not. And we still want to talk about Elvis's favorite teacher in school. And plus, I want to see which one was actually Elvis in the picture he posted up because I accidentally tagged a girl, but I meant to tag the one beside her. First though, let's listen to this track. It's called Summer 선생님, and it's by Jang Yun-jung. Okay, but yes, I did circle the girl, but I had meant to circle the one beside
Actually,
her.
I thought you did it intentionally because of the hair.
Oh, really?
No, because it's not fine. I don't have a pencil. I was using my finger, and then I just pressed send, and I was like, ooh, but that's not who. I accidentally cut your face out when I was like, and you were like, it's a girl. I'm like, yes, because she's wearing a dress. I didn't think you actually wore a dress. But was it the one beside her?
No.
Oh.
I was.
That's fine then.
Still wrong.
I'm still wrong. Okay, but look it. I'll show you. I have the picture on here. You tell me if you can figure out.
Okay.
I am sure no one can.
You'll get it.
Now I really want to see.
Oh no, that's the school one. So many. There we
Wow.
go. That's my teacher, Mr. Metcalf.
Wow.
Okay, so I was trying to do this boy here, but I accidentally tagged that girl. And you have to admit, it's not exactly a clear photo.
Exactly.
It's like somewhere here, right?
That's where Sophie did
I think it's him. with the hand.
like.
I'm bored. Shim.
No,
Oh, it's him. No.
I'm standing.
Oh, you're standing.
you're standing.
I'm so bad at this. But this is like really, really bad. Unfocused.
Him.
Oh, yeah.
뭔데? 카메라 좀 보여줘. 카메라도 좀 보여줘. 뭔데?
His him. We're trying to guess.
We're
trying to guess.
Him. You're right next to him, and they're like. No.
No.
No, you're guessing everyone.
Him. This
No.
way.
Him.
Exactly.
Him?
Yeah.
Oh.
With the unimpressed look. Okay, listeners, when we put up this photo, you try to find Elvis. It is him that out.
I haven't seen him without his mask on, so
Yeah. You should say without my glasses.
with and without his glasses, yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I didn't used to wear glasses.
and also your facial kind of changes when you wear your glasses, like
Exactly. Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I also had to look for myself actually.
Right.
Oh, where did Frank go? Frank was busy today, right? He had a
He had a what?
test, didn't he? His exams.
I don't know what he might have told you.
Exams. I'm pretty sure.
I'll just be quiet and
Challenging exam.
No,
No
it's
comments.
sending food pictures when I'm hungry. And that includes coffee pictures, because also I want a coffee.
Oh, me too.
I have some hot water.
I need coffee.
Delicious, unmade hot water.
I need coffee.
I have coffee package, but no water for you.
Just
You don't have to collect this.
It's almost like a drug, so it's actually like, it makes sense.
Oh, that's nice. Peng Suapa was saying when he was a middle school student, he taught his art teacher English, and she helped him to avoid school violence. That's
Wow.
really nice. Yeah, that's like an important thing. Especially teachers should never turn a blind eye to gerepita, like
Yeah.
bullying or even like, pardon me, even like rough play or it should be squashed out.
Yeah, right away.
I do know, like, my first son was bullied a lot.
Gosh.
And unfortunately, when we talked to the teacher about it, she said, oh, well, they're just trying to make friends.
That's not
I was like, well, I don't like the way they're making
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, right.
And she
Wanna
was
be
like,
my
well,
friend?
but it wasn't the hitting part. It was like,
more scarier. It's like mushi.
yeah, it was literally, they would say things like, well, you're not Korean. And I'd say, well, he is Korean. He's
Discrimination.
literally, technically, he has Canadian and Korean citizenship. His dad is Korean and his mom is Canadian. And they'll say things like, well, go back to Canada.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
born and raised here, go back to Canada.
Yeah.
Where? Like, he'd have to be in Canada and have come here.
Yeah,
And like, they would, you know when you like high five someone or slap someone on the back, like, oh, good job, patting them, but they would like whack him on the back and go, but teacher, I was only patting him, good job.
Oh my gosh.
And she'd be like, why are you crying about that? They were just telling you good job. He, and
Terrible.
like, and don't think the teacher didn't participate in the, I didn't know my son couldn't read well and he couldn't recognize a character. They were playing character bingo. She gave every single kid in the class candy except my kid because my kid couldn't read the character she gave him.
Oh my gosh, that's like total
And
discrimination.
He called me crying from the bathroom and said all the other kids got candy and not me. And I thought, well, at the time I was like, well, what did you do? Like, I can't believe a teacher would do that.
Crazy.
Like, it
So,
doesn't make sense.
I called the teacher and she's like, well, yes, he couldn't read his character. I was like, he's in grade 1, and according to your school website, you're supposed to teach him how to read characters.
Yeah, right.
And she was like, well, I guess this was just a mistake.
Oh my god.
No, a mistake would be giving the wrong homework. A mistake would be like calling him by the wrong name. A mistake is
Yeah.
not giving every single kid in the class candy but my kid.
That's not a mistake.
So then that set the tone for like the whole year.
Yeah.
But then he found this one girl who is like the tiniest ever Korean girl I've ever seen. She's so petite. And my son was a massive hulk of a boy. And she would like reach all the way up and grab his earlobe just gently and then pull it down and he'd be like, and she'd like whisper in his ear. So she came to our house one day. He did that, right? It was like, bent down. Gina would like some water, please.
It's like the translator.
Okay, Gina, 물 여기 있어요.
Thank you.
Gina says thank you.
That's so cute. Yeah.
Okay.
That's so cute.
That's
yeah.
really cute.
It did get better in grade 2 and
That's
grade
good.
3, but
Yeah.
I was really worried my second, who went into grade 1 this year, I was really worried about
yeah.
that. But his teacher, who I think is unfortunately unwell at the moment, she had an accident of some kind. Hopefully she gets better really soon because every day he comes home and says, I really miss my teacher.
Yeah.
And I was like, yay!
That's a good thing, yeah.
Finally, I don't have to hear that. We are back, listeners. That track was by the Hans Band. It was called 선생님 사랑해요. And I do want to say 선생님 사랑해요 to all of the good teachers out there who stop bullying in its tracks, who
Yes.
do not turn a blind eye to bullying, who, recognize students that need a little bit of a different teaching method than what 90% of the students do. There is, I don't know if you've ever taught a student for anything, or, and they have a light bulb moment, a moment where they get it.
Yeah.
I used to have a middle school student, and I could have been, if it had been when I first got here, I would have been just like, no, get out of my class. Everything I asked him, everything, including, how are you today? He would say, wala, I don't know, wala, I don't know, wala. Everything, and it drove me nuts. Inside, outside, it was like, okay, well, you can say, I'm fine, I'm not good, I'm sleepy, I'm angry. And I thought he learned nothing in my class.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. He came back when he was a university student and said that I was one of the best teachers he ever had. I was like, are you lying? I call Hajimasheo because nobody sits through a class and says, Mullah, Mullah, Mullah. Are you alive? Mullah. Nado Mullah. I don't know. Zombie is like Mullah. Even if I said it in Korean, he would just say Mullah,
Oh
Mullah.
my goodness.
무슨 색? 빨간색 말해. 빨간색 말해.
Molla.
몰라.
Oh my.
Wow.
But then he came back and he said, I learned a lot of English from you.
Oh,
And I was like, what English? What color is it? But yeah, he spoke to me in English. It was like, so even when you don't think you're teaching anyone anything, yes. And like Paula was saying, parents are the first teachers.
Yeah.
Kids are like sponges, man. I used to, under my breath, be a little bit of a passive-aggressive driver.
Sure.
Like, not in my driving, but like, when you say comments, when someone cuts you off or tries to back into you. But my son, my oldest, used to be in the car when I was doing it, but I was always saying it under my breath, so I thought, well, he can't hear, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Until one day, a motorcycle cut us off to be the first in the line to turn the corner. And my son rolled down the window and yelled something I cannot repeat on the radio.
Oh my.
I'll probably get fired if I did.
my.
And he was 3 at the time. And color me shocked. I was like, I don't think. I was like rolling up the window.
Oh gosh.
I was like, Andrew, where did you learn that? He's like, it's okay, Mommy. You say it when you're driving. I'm gonna hit myself in the mouth. Bop, 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 bop.
Oh, blimey.
So then after that, I realized internally I can say what I want, but externally I'll say things like, that person is not driving responsibly. That person needs to learn that brakes work for a reason. That kind of.
Right.
Thankfully, the second and third have not yelled anything embarrassing out the window. Okay, so I kind of was talking about your school a little bit, April, but I forgot to ask you if you had a favorite teacher.
Yes, so I actually had a teacher that I significantly remember and be really thankful.
Okay.
So it was it was the first teacher I met when I just immigrated to Canada in 1996.
Okay.
And so I was staying in that school for only a few months.
Oh, okay.
And so it was and I moved right away. So I can't really remember her name. I remember her face, but I can't remember her name or have a picture of her, obviously. So the school was really small, and then I did not speak English well, almost none, I guess.
Right.
And so I became wangta, a loner, because people won't talk to me because people won't talk to me because I have this accent or I can't understand them.
Yeah.
So as you probably know, Kayla and Paulo, in Canada when we're in recess, we have to go out no matter what the weather is, snowing, rain, we have to go
Go
out.
play,
But I did not want to go out because I had no one to play with.
Yeah.
So I would be sitting on the bench all the time for a few days, and then I think my teacher saw me that. So I asked her, can I stay in? And then she was like, oh, okay. Usually they don't allow you.
Yeah, they really don't because there's no one to watch you because everyone's outside. Yeah.
So she would stick with me in the classroom, and she would teach me French because she was a French teacher.
Right.
Oh.
So she taught me the national anthem of Canada, "Oh Canada," in French version. So I knew more French words than English by that time.
I'm sure your parents were really happy. So come here to Canada to learn English. You come back.
Back back in the days in Canada, like in the morning, like they would always have the national anthem on, and then we would
Yes.
sing it out.
Yeah.
And you
And then-
sing it in French, right?
Yeah, I'll be like singing it aloud in French, and people would be like, "Oh my gosh, she's like singing in French." Like,
Because that's not going to ostracize you anymore, right?
yeah, like but like that really gave me some confidence. Like she really
Right.
encouraged
Sure,
me. Like
yeah.
that it
That's
helped me to
amazing.
like learn new language and like be more open to people. Like
Do you remember her name?
no,
But I bet you remember her face.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
close your eyes, you can see her
remember
face.
her. Yes.
Very
Oh.
clearly. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
My brain. Yes. Okay, I do want to get into Elvis now, because Elvis, you have a favorite teacher, correct?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But today's topic has really gotten me to think about all the teachers I've had, all the mentors I've had in my life so
Right.
far. And I'm very, very grateful to them. Yeah, because seeing myself now, I see myself as a product of their advice and their caring nature.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were one of those kids, weren't you? You were one of the troublemakers, the gaggle-jangies in class, weren't you?
Not really.
You have a
actually,
glint.
in elementary school, I was a very good student.
Oh.
Yeah, a
Oh.
top performer. Yeah, and actually, this actually is very thanks to the teacher I want to mention today. Her
Okay.
name is Teacher Jennifer.
Okay.
I met her back in nursery school. That's preschool. Yeah. So like, I had to transfer schools because of some thing I didn't do, or I didn't do it. Yeah. Yeah, but like, okay, I'll tell you the story.
Oh, the picture's up. Lots of listeners, try and find
Yeah.
The
difficulty level
Yeah.
extreme.
the extreme. He's standing. That's
the
your
lady
hand.
there is Teacher Jennifer.
Oh.
And you can find me in that picture.
No.
He's standing, otherwise you'll never find him. And he's not wearing a dress. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, and my hairstyle is different.
And the hairstyle, no glasses. No glasses.
So different person. Yeah, so like I moved to this new school and I met Teacher Jennifer, and she was like, "You are a very good student," but I was like, "Oh no, I'm just like," yeah, yeah. So like she said, "I will help to turn you into a better student." Yeah, and
Aw.
yeah. Before that, I used to like suck on my finger. Yeah, and she made me stop sucking on my finger and made me know how to like focus on my studies.
Everyone
Yeah.
has a thing that day.
Yeah. Yeah, and so since that day I started becoming like a top performer. Yeah, and throughout my elementary school I was like always at the top. Yeah, so I think because of that I don't really have any bad teacher that I have met, because after that every teacher that I met was
Right.
a good teacher to me.
They loved you.
Yeah, they loved me. Yeah.
For
But
sure.
before that, like the school that I just transferred from, we had like the issue that made me transfer. Like we were after school, we were like kids playing outside. So it was like a game of jumping from this top down.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I don't know, we were so nice. We lined up to jump. And
Your turn
He
first.
lines up to try and kill
After
herself.
you.
It's so nice. It was great.
and the girl in front of me jumped and got hurt.
Right in lined up to kill each
and
other.
because I was behind her, I was like,
Yeah,
you
oh.
pushed her, and the grade 7 students carried me to the head teacher's office.
Oh.
And I've never received a beating like on that day.
Okay, well on that
Wow.
note, listeners, on the radio, it's time to say goodbye. It's time to say goodbye
Yeah.
to Hello Korea. So thank you for joining us. And don't forget, keep continuing on to the NotTube channel. We're going to continue on till 12.
Yeah.
Earlier in the show, we asked you this Saturday, May 15th, is a special anniversary in Korea. And for this group of people, who are they? We gave you the choice of A, parents, B, children, or C, teachers. The answer was C, teachers. Coming up tomorrow, we'll bring you the latest cultural news, and we will have our daily quiz. Suli will be in the studio with me tomorrow for foodie trends in Korea. And lastly, Gogo will be here to talk about family with life and navigating that road on Juma Talk. You can join us 10:05 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Monday to Friday right here on GFN 98.7 FM in Gwangju, 93.7 FM in Yeosu. Up next is live coronavirus updates from TBS Seoul, so stay tuned. Have a great day, and we'll meet you back here tomorrow. The last song for the show for today will be this track. It's by Yuri. It's called 나의 선생님께. Now you have something you want to say to Teacher Jennifer, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I need to move on from the beating because
It was so like.
as a parent and as a teacher is horrifying.
Yeah, it was very horrifying. My mother was like, "You can't go to this school anymore."
No investigation. The word of your like classmates,
Yeah.
and they beat you. No, I just.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to Teacher
But it
Jennifer?
was a life-changing opportunity because
Yeah,
it
give
made
over.
me now meet Teacher Jennifer.
Look into the camera and tell her.
so Teacher Jennifer, I know you're not watching this, but
I know. Too late. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna tag Teacher Jennifer in the when it comes up.
right, yeah. It's been ages since we last saw each other, but I would like you to know that I think the world of you. I would hope that the world showers favor upon you, yeah, because you have been a very life-changing person in my life. You gave me direction, and you made me into the person I am now. So, thank you so much.
Where's the tissue? That's so nice.
Yeah.
And you know what? She might see it. You don't know. She
Yeah.
might be wondering. I've often wondered about my students
Yeah.
from like long ago, and she might be doing a search, Elvis, which is probably not your real name, but she might be searching for you and come across a link that takes her to another link that takes her to another link that takes her to NotTube link and finds Channel GFN and sees
Yeah.
your show.
Maybe.
So
But
she might.
You never know.
it's
Yeah.
been so long since I saw her because after attending that school, now I also had to transfer to another school. Now this time to a boarding school. So
Right.
yeah, so many years. So many years in between.
That is true, but I mean, I don't know. I think that a lot of people would.
Yeah. Because actually, every teacher in that school actually really liked me. Yeah, so I
Brag
think,
much?
Yeah.
Actually, every teacher in that school liked me.
Uh,
Yeah, well,
yeah, but yeah, in high school I was the Kegujing, you see.
troublemaker.
Not really troublemaker, but in class when the teacher says something,
Mischievous.
and I shout
Mischievous.
something, yeah. Yeah, so
I will say I did have one teacher, and I can't remember exactly the teacher now, but my brother and my sister went to the same high school, which was both a blessing and also a curse.
My sister did it.
So,
on
like-
purpose.
Like, my older sister's, like, friends would just call me Little. They just call me Little. And my brother's friends would call me Little J. My brother's name was Jason. Either Little J or Little Nichols. That's my last name.
Yeah.
And then my friends were all like, "Oh, your brother's so cute." Yes, I can reach the ripe old age of me and still say my brother. I do love him, but when we were younger, he was like, he's 2 years older than me, but so sometimes when you're younger, girls mature faster than boys.
Sure, yeah.
So I named Little Nichols because.
Oh.
But like I would wear my, I mean, you have to think my dad is about 180 centimeters and like a Santa Claus. So I would wear his like shirts. If you can imagine, they'd go down to my knees.
yeah.
Like a parachute.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. It's really, really hard to believe, listeners. But I was 171 centimeters.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Still. And I weighed probably about 59 kilo.
Oh, that's
So wearing somebody who is 182 centimeters
Yeah.
and probably like 100, you know.
Yeah.
So it went down to like my knees, or like I would wear a belt.
Yeah.
I'd wear his pants, and they'd be like, you know, baggy.
Baggy, very baggy.
stick thin and baggy, and with a belt that was like. I have no fashion sense, listeners. Love you. To this day, I have no fashion sense because I'd pick like one from there and one from there and one from there, and my sister hated it. Kara! I love you. But yes, nobody taught me fashion. I
Yeah.
demand a refund. I still have no fashion. I demand a refund. But yeah, I don't know. I think teachers can be incredibly important. Teaching things like not sucking your thumb.
Yeah.
For me, it was picking my fingers. I didn't suck mine, but I would pick them all the way down so they'd like be bleeding in class. My teeth, but you can't put anything on it. Like if you're sucking your thumb, my brother
They
did.
could put-
They put this like disgusting
really
thing,
bitter,
Or paper.
And so he would stop, right? But what do you stop? This doesn't.
I actually still have that habit, so.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say you couldn't see my thumbs. For me now, it's picking my
Yeah, like
hangnails.
that's right. Yeah. I
Don't
really
look,
hate it.
listeners. I'm how old and I'm still. And my mom will still say it. I'll be talking to her and she'll be like, "Don't pick that. You're gonna regret it."
And you'll just be like,
More and more.
Right. But now I feel like I'm more and more like my mom when I tell my kids, "Don't scratch that. You're gonna regret it." But seriously though, do you think that your best teacher, your favorite teacher, had more of an impact on you than your worst teacher?
Me, yes, definitely.
Yes, you, yes,
Yeah,
Paolo?
yeah. I don't know. It just I think it's like the positive
Momentum
reinforcement.
and
Yeah, it's like
right.
stronger because like I remember the bad teachers and it's like I hate them, but now it's kind of like moved on and
Yeah.
I don't even like care about them or like I didn't learn anything from them. Like
That's
kind of
true.
thing. But
yeah.
the teachers that were like really positive, it's like you still keep them
Yeah.
That's
inside
true.
you. Like they're still a part of you. Like they're part of like your personality and stuff.
Yeah.
I love how good teachers do things that, like, I mean, even though every day they showed up and every day they worked to be good teachers, but your memory stands out certain things about a teacher.
Yes.
Like, for example, my grade 9 shop teacher, I took a welding.
That's
There
interesting.
was
Yeah.
myself
I
and
took it too.
there was
That's cool.
myself and
I took it
another
too.
girl, and like
That's cool.
all the rest were boys, which really frustrated me at times because they'd be like, "Do you want me to weld that for you? Well, are you going to weld my final exam?"
Yeah.
I kind of need to learn to get over my fear of arc welding and get it done. But the very first time he took a blowtorch and had filled a balloon with oxygen or not oxygen, one of the gases, and he had it on a meter stick. Then he lit the torch, and then he slowly lowered the balloon until, of course, and we didn't know what was going on because
Exactly.
you know, and then all of a sudden it popped. Of course, it made a huge
Flame.
fireball.
Fireball, yeah.
And he's like, and that's
that's
what
vintage.
happens when you don't pay attention and be careful. And then after that, I was terrified of it.
Therapy.
I was like, I can't touch it. I must touch it. But I made like some feet, and I made basketball hoops,
Oh,
and things like that. But those memories, those single incidents.
Yeah.
I mean, I was with him like at least 300 days of the school year, right?
Yeah.
But that incident I remember very clearly. I remember my music teacher, Mr. Curtis, throwing like, you know, those penny candies. Well, I don't think you can get them for a penny anymore. The 1 cent candies, like the ship one candies.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Oh, you want to eat candy?" And he'd like throw little candies at the floor. Sorry. You know, just like little snapshots of how many years you went to school worth of memories, and you can pick out times where you're just like, "Oh, that was hilarious. Oh, that was helpful." He got me to stop sucking my thumb. That's amazing. Like, I tried for almost a year to potty train my daughter on my own. Unsuccessfully, I might add. And her daycare teacher, in a positive way, because my daughter was, like, super in love with this daycare teacher, got her potty trained in 3 months.
Oh.
I tried for
Okay.
I mean, they're pros.
You're supposed to love your mom! But she'd tell me no. She wouldn't even sit on the potty at home. And yet she'd go to daycare, and I'd be like, "I'm so sorry. I'm trying to potty train her." And she's like, "She sits on the potty here." I even bought the same potty they have at the daycare. But no, something name isn't there, so she doesn't go.
That's one less interesting. You'll be like, I wonder if she's doing well at daycare. But even if you're
Yes.
like, oh, your
I'm like,
kid
"Do you
is
love
like-
mommy?" "Yes." "Will you sit on the potty?" "No." "If Sung Sing were here, will you sit on the potty?" "Yes." Go live with Sung Sing Nim then. Let's see if Sung Sing Nim loves you. Just kidding, Sung Sing Nim 사랑해. But yeah, I think those positive things that teachers, and if you think about it, like any kind of teaching you've done, could you imagine like 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day?
Yeah.
Plus, then, like, some teachers in other countries have to go home. They have to take their work home with them, prepare, grade tests.
Yeah.
don't think I could be a teacher in Canada.
I had an experience, actually. A bad case happened, but it turned into a good case. So my English teacher, she saw my grammar. I don't know how horrible I was back then, but she actually like told me to come out of the class, and she was like, "You have to go back to ESL because your grammar is really bad."
Oh,
And then that just like shocked me. I was like, "Whoa!" It was like 6 years of like I was actually okay with English. That's what I thought. And then she was like, "Oh, you have to go back to ESL," and I was so shocked. So I was like, I'll show her, and then I was like actually studying really hard, and then actually I at the end I made it to we were reading Shakespeare, 12th night, and then we
that's
were
easy. Oh my
and we were
God.
acting it out, but then I became the main character because I worked so hard, and then she was like, "Oh, you can have the main character." Like that's how
that's
she
nice.
like it. Maybe a bad case actually turned into a good case.
Yeah.
And, like, she drove me.
Yeah.
So that's really hard.
I know.
Right.
It's like,
Quite a
You
challenge.
can't get out of my class. You're not good enough. Like,
literally.
will you prove me? So Shakespeare for you. But I know university students who are like Shakespeare. Oh,
Yeah.
me included. I don't know. Shakespeare's difficult. I guess let's wrap up to say that all the teachers out there, whether you are an official teacher or not, be careful of your words. Words matter. Words impact your students, and we learn from everyone around us. And hopefully, even as teachers, we can learn something from our students, from our
Every day, yeah.
from the people we interact with every day, right? All right, everyone, time to go. 여러분, 안녕하세요. 사랑해, 선생님.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend.
고생했어요.
Hacker 주먹밥.
Back to
Oh, I
the
didn't forget about that.
I will say though, I think you should have
My
done the
teacher, my
spicy
teacher,
first.
Mustaf.